video, we're going to be talking about how do you do the kind of three color underpainting Mische technique that I do and I talk about in all my other videos if you already have a background that you want to work with. So I probably, I do 99.9% of the time start off with a red ground because I've already drawn my image on there and I know exactly what I'm doing. Background is going to get painted in as I go. However, this painting is a special case. I had my little son, who is 2.5 years old, help me paint the background in. And I hope to be doing more of these because that was so much fun and I'm kind of secretly training him to do my backgrounds anyway. You know, for fun. And, you know, so this is a perfect example and I can share it with you all on how you still get that amazing, optical grays that TriColor Mische Technique underpainting gets you, which is why I'm so addicted to doing it that way anyway, when you already have colors underneath that are not red. And there is a way, and I think you'll find it very interesting. So thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like my work and you want to find out kind of more about what my work means, kind of the thought processes and, you know, a little more in depth in that direction, which I don't really talk about much on these videos. I write a Substack once a week. If you're interested, it's all free. And if you're interested, the link is below in the descriptions and I hope to see you there. And without further ado, let's jump into the video.
So the essential premise of this is pretty simple. You basically just do the white layer exactly the way you would normally do it if the ground was red, but then you kind of apply the glazes differently. So, but there's a little difference that you really just need to adhere to. So I'm just showing you, this is my very fuzzy brush. And I normally wouldn't paint so much with this if the ground was red, but I really wanted to lay in this layer with a pretty thick white, like a hazy white underpainting. And as my base layer, and I'm going to get way more detailed in a minute here. So what you just saw there was that I am dipping it into my casing and I'm making sure that it's almost a dry brush technique. So I am also dabbing it with some of my paper towel to get that extra moisture off because I really want this kind of haze color as my underpainting. But then I go back in with a finer brush and I go crazy with detail. And so I need, because my drawing wasn't there initially when I did the background, I need to draw most of this in with the egg tempera, the casing itself. And so then as my secondary glaze, I am kind of combining the red and the yellow layers into one glaze. So I have a ton of detail that's been more or less drawn on with the white egg tempera. And then I am applying the secondary color glaze with kind of a very orange-red color. So like I said, I'm basically combining the colors of the red ground and the yellow glaze to be this really, really kind of bright orange-red. And you can see that it really, you know, even whatever color is going to be underneath there, in this case, it's going to be kind of purples and greens and yellows. The fact that I did that white, very hazy kind of glaze, it covers up all of those inconsistencies in color, which is partly, you know, that's great for the background, but it's not so great if you just want kind of a smooth skin. You don't want splotchy kind of background color popping up, right? And so that needed to kind of lay in that basic tone so that I can go in with those details on top of it, you know, start kind of building in those layers. And then when I'm applying this glaze, that's going to really kind of give it the depth that I am looking for. And so you kind of do a little more work with that white in the underpainting in this first layer than you normally would, because you kind of are doing 2-in-1, and you can see how much depth this already has. And so both with the layering of that kind of very variegated underpainting with a bunch of that white hazy glaze, with then on top of that a lot of detail, you really get so much out of this. And then here's just a peek at that second layer of white now is going on top of this. So this is exactly now you proceed how you would normally proceed in the painting. You know, I am making sure I'm doing all of those beautiful details, all of those optical grays, and I'm, continuing to fill in all of those details as I would normally under these circumstances. And so instead of then going into, what would be the yellow glaze, if you will, as the secondary color glaze, I'm just going to go ahead and do the blue glaze on top of this, just as I would if I had done the red ground, yellow glaze secondarily, and then the blue glaze as the third glaze, right? So instead, I have a crazy variegated ground that I laid in. I've combined the red and the yellow into one color glaze, and then I'm going to move forward with the blue glaze just like normal, and then from there I do all my local colors. So that is a kind of quick intro into this process. I'm going to be making kind of more detailed versions of this video because there is more to it. Obviously, this is just a kind of quick take. But I hope that helps, because I know a lot of you all love to make these really wonderful, fun backgrounds, and then you're kind of stuck, right? You're kind of stuck into making the Mische technique in a completely different sort of way. But you can still keep those, keep that kind of tri-color version and still, really harness the optical grace that color version is able to get you, that I kind of almost think like no other way of doing the Mische technique can. And you can still harness that beautiful quality, those optical grays, those opalescent undertones in this way. And, this is kind of your way to have your cake and eat it too. I hope that was helpful. Like, subscribe, and share. And thank you so much.